today we're really going to talk about, how to position yourself in real estate to be successful.
Yeah.
And also talk about different types of income pillars and what you can expect kind of as a rate of return from some of those income pillars. So, a lot of times I ask agents what they're willing to do to be successful in the interview sometimes, because real estate isn't as easy as it may look on the outside looking in. And so you have to be, focused in real estate. A lot of people come from jobs or backgrounds where other people dictated their time. And, that's fine and good when you're getting a paycheck at the end of the week for the time that you put in. They can tell you pretty much what you need to do the whole time because they're going to be paying you to do that. But in real estate, you pay yourself for the time that you put in. And it doesn't come immediately from the efforts and time that you put in. So you have to be very focused on what you're doing with your time each day so that you're always in a productive mode of money-making activities, if that makes sense. And to do that, you need to manage your time much better than as if you worked in any other type of traditional type of work. Because, you set your own hours, you set what you do with your own hours. So you could get really busy in real estate and not be productive at all. And so we want to make sure that we are always constantly in our productive mode, per se, And we want to see that the things that we're doing that we think we're in our productive mode, we want to make sure that we track them so that we can measure whether we are being successful with that particular pillar or opportunity. And the reason why I mention that is because as your real estate career develops, you're going to start expanding different pillars of where your business comes from. For instance, if you nurtured your center of influence and you said, listen, I'm going to be very connected to my center of influence, and you create a marketing plan, which meant I know what marketing piece I'm going to mail to them. I'm going to know the frequency in which I'm going to mail that marketing piece to them. I'm going to follow that with a phone call as part of my plan. And I'm going to do a pie giveaway to a very select few each year, during around the holiday season. And then I'm also going to do a center of influence, get together, like meet and greet kind of thing once a year that I'll have some vendors sponsor. And so then I'm going to plan all that out into my calendar. And then I have to make sure that I show up and do the things that I say I'm going to do for that particular pillar. And so from other types of businesses is we want to plan things out. There's lots of things that you can do with your time, but you want to make sure that you do productive things with your time. Another thing that we're going to kind of talk about today and positioning yourself for success is, what is a money-making activity? Is building a website a money-making activity, or is, calling my center of influence or calling on for sell-by owners a better money-making activity? I'm not saying that either one of them is better than the other, but you need to recognize what's the most important thing in your business career, and that is to focus on money-making activity. And so you have to be able to recognize whether you're in a money-making activity situation or if you're in just a working on my business situation, which doesn't return money but can take a lot of time. All right, being that said, so you want to think about a couple things, and I'm just kind of showing you this form. We're going to come back to it. But you want to think about time management, positioning yourself for success, understanding what your goal is going to be for a particular type of component of the business, and that when I say a goal for the business, you can have a general goal for your entire business and use this form to be able to make that happen. Or you can break down different pillars within your business and really define the activities that will support that pillar. And what I mean by support, sure, you're going to get ideas from me and from our company and from other agents that have been in the business longer or do things differently than you have that you can apply to your business. But it's ultimately up to you on what you choose to do inside your pillars to make them work. And so, like I said, we can do a general overview of our career of what we want to do in business with this form, and then we can do individual pillars. And I'll give you an example of an individual pillar, and we'll be exploring those in a minute. But let's just say I want to have a for sale by owner program. That would be a pillar. So my understanding of my goal here, my business goal would be that I want to list six for sale by owners this year. What's my income goal? Well, I'm going to target $300,000 or greater. So 6 times 3. So I'm going to build in my numbers here. All right. So then I take that number and then I multiply it times my commission, which would be 3.5%, and that gives me my income goal for that particular pillar. You guys will do me a favor. There's a mute button that you guys can.
Well, I'm asking you, what do you want to do? She said, I'll meet you.
I think I got it. So maybe I didn't. If you can mute yourself on the other end, that'd be great. And then by when you have an income pillar, you want to set your goal to where you know when that's going to end. Like, when do you want to achieve that? All right. And then you're going to put down the known things that you need to. What are you willing to do to reach that goal? So everything that you can think about that would support that for sale by owner pillar. For example, I'm going to drive around particular neighborhoods that I want to sell in and check out once a month just to see if there's any new for sale by owners that pop up. I'm also going to, check Craigslist every day for new for sale by owners that might come up that I'm not aware of. Maybe I read the newspaper and I find for sale by owners that are in the newspaper. Maybe I go to Zillow and I create a search, and in my search I only search for, by owners, and I see if they got relisted or not. And that can be a pillar. So you can So what I want you to do is do a brain dump of all the activities that you think you can do to prospect or to help you achieve that goal in that pillar. Now you can ask your peers, hey, what would you do to, if you're going to for sale by owner, thing. And by brainstorming with other people, you can input their thoughts of activities. And then once you just brain dumped on them, now we're going to really put them in priority. And then we're going to apply time to those activities. We're now going to take those activities and put them into our schedule, because these are the activities that you have to do to achieve the goal. So that's how this works. That's kind of the example of how we're going to work on that together. So a couple things that you want to keep in mind is as you start putting goals together, you want to think to yourself, was my goal specific enough, and what was I crystal clear on what I wanted to achieve from it? All right. And then, was my goal too high? Once you set your goal, was it too high? Was it unattainable? Because you want to set baby goals or goals that are reachable, and then reset new ones, because you want to have some achievement. And they can be small ones because they build into big ones. So set goals that aren't too high, did I commit the appropriate resources required to meet the goal? Well, resources are not always money. Did I set enough time aside to call my for sale by owners? Did I set enough time aside to mail them? Or did I just skip and not follow up with them each week like I planned on doing when I set my goals? So you want to make sure that you measure your goal when you get ready to do that. Did I have someone hold me accountable? Now, no one's looking over your shoulder to know whether you do the activity or not. Only you know that. But if you partnered up with someone and had an accountability partner, then most people, when they have an accountability partner, they tend to perform a little bit better. They don't blow things off. If you have trouble completing things, if you're one of those people that, you do everything that you say you're going to do and you follow through, God bless you. You're much better than me. But, having a good accountability partner to help you achieve your goals is important. You want to make sure that you pay attention to what worked. So when you're going through and doing these activities, what worked? The way that I talked to this person, did that work? This approach where I was friendly and didn't say too much and I just gave them this and I did a phone follow-up instead, did that work? By mailing them this extra piece, did that make the difference? So I want to measure what worked. And then what adjustments I have to make next time. If you're finding some success, like a hitter in baseball, not every time you hit a baseball do you hit it right in the sweet spot. Sometimes you hit it off the end of the bat, but it gets through, But when you can hit something on its sweet spot more often, you get a lot more home runs. So when you can fine-tune your goal and fine-tune your approach to achieving that goal, you can really master it. And then when you master something and you master a pillar, you can turn it into automate it and expand on it, and you're aware of how that really works. So you want to pay attention to these kind of things. All right, so we've covered the learning loop, so now you know how to review your goal. We kind of went an overview on how to set a goal. So before we dive into anything else, why don't we look at some of the pillars that are out there? Now we're just going to talk about the big basic pillars. I mean, there are all kinds of little niches and other kinds of pillars, but we're going to talk about the big ones that everyone should really kind of pay attention to. All right? For instance, your first traditional pillar would be your COI or SOI, just depending on where you come from. But that stands for your center of influence. And if what you should understand is every person that is in your life, and I'll repeat that, every person that is in your life and is connected to you knows at least 3 people in a 12-month period. They know 3 people that either want to buy or sell a property. Now, sometimes it may be the same person in your circle, but everyone knows at least 3 people that buy or sell a property in a given calendar year, okay? So your goal is to get them to refer you one of the 3 potential people they could refer you to, okay? That's your goal, or that could be your goal if you're going to work your center of influence. And out of that, your conversion rate is going to be 50%, meaning half of the referrals that you get from your center of influence are not going to pan out. They're just not going to be any good. Maybe they changed their mind. Maybe real estate wasn't what they thought they wanted to do. Okay, but you talked to them. You started the process, and then somewhere along the line it disappeared. And then only 50% of the ones that are left will probably buy or sell. Something will go wrong. They'll go find a FSBO and buy it without you, or they'll meet a builder and build without you because you didn't show them any new construction. So 50% So 50% of that will happen. So you know what? If you had 40 referrals from your A-plus COI, these are people committed to referring you, you could probably end up with about 10. This is a good way to gauge if you're going to be on track. Now, your numbers might be different than mine, okay? That's why you have to measure what's going on in your business so that you can see what your conversion rates are and what your ratios are, okay? But this is a good basic rule of thumb to kind of start off with. So you can use this to figure out how many people that you have to talk to, how many for sale by owners you got to talk to get to the things. The next one is the for sale by owner program. All right. Our for sale by owner program, you figure if you talk to 20 for sale by owners, you'll get one listing. Okay. 20 for sale by owners, you'll probably get one listing. Now, you'll have 25% of all the for sale by owners will list with a flat fee company, okay, or a company that has I don't have this written in here, but a company that has like a menu of services. Well, we have a menu of services. We used to have a flat fee, so I already know how well that works. But the menu of services has been working as well, but we actually make a lot more money with that program. And so this is a good number. So 25%. So 1 out of 4 will list with somebody that has a commission schedule program. So that means if you talk to 4 for sale by owners and you work them properly, you have a good chance of listing one. That could be a program that you have in your business. Okay, I'm going to focus on getting some FSBOs, and I kind of told you how we can set those goals up to make that happen. Short sales, back when I had this, actually let me jump back here to open houses. Open houses. Now, we have found a way to do mega open houses or mobile offices. Let me explain what a mobile office is. A mobile office is a vacant home that has good drive-by traffic area that you could go and put in a used couch, or you could put a couch in, you could put a little table in, a little meeting area. You can put a mini refrigerator in there. You could stage it if you wanted to, or you could create a little office or seating area that was like an office. You can even take a printer over there, take a bigger monitor, and you can turn on your Wi-Fi hotspot if that's what you needed to do, and have a plan for that. And so when somebody comes into your open house, you can greet them and show them that house, but you can also set them down and do a search right there for them as if they came into the office looking for a list of properties that match exactly what they're looking for. The consumers are incredibly savvy. So, open houses, you can really boost up some numbers, okay? And no one says that you have to do them on just Saturday and Sunday. You can do them from 10 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night if you want to, if it's a great location, and you can get walk-in traffic. But open houses, typically 1 out of 20 people will become a client. 1 out of 20. So you have to have 20 groups of people that you meet, and one of them will become a buyer client for you, potentially. All right? And most open houses, a normal open house gets 4 groups of people, and that's it. We do a mega open houses, and we put lots of signs up, and we have lots of traffic coming to our houses. We could average anywhere from 15 to 30. Heaven forbid you get 30, though. That would be a little overwhelming. You better have someone working with you. But open houses can be a great pillar of income. Short sales. We don't have too many short sales that we're currently doing, though, but short sales are still a viable option in the real estate industry. I can show you some techniques if you're interested in going after short sales to identify the people that have a list pendant but don't have their property on the market. But sometimes these people just don't care anymore, and they're difficult to get a hold of. So the short sale market has really shrunk tremendously, just like the listings for the REOs has really shrunk tremendously over the last couple of years. So that is a declining marketplace, a declining niche in the market. They're going to be here with us, but the volume of them is shrinking. All right, an expired program. An expired is a listing that was with another company, a property that was for sale with another company, and now their listing agreement has expired. And the agent has not renewed that listing because it has expired in the MLS, allowing every agent out there to solicit that seller for their services. Okay, so you can put together a plan for that. The return on connecting with these people tends to mean it tends to be low. You have to contact a lot of them to connect with very few. Okay, so you figure 1 out of 30 will list with you. So that means for every 30 contacts that you reach, talk to, and actually have a pitch with on the phone, you probably might get 1 out of those 30 that will list with you. Okay, but I can guarantee you this: it's worth it, because if you get them listed, you probably got a 90% chance the property will sell. The market is so red hot right now. If you can get it priced right, it should sell. You know, most of our listings have great activity. So you can have an expired program. Web lead generation. We have a Boomtown system within our company. We also have people doing ads for Realtor.com. People have their own websites that they're driving traffic to. But the rule of thumb typically is this: 80% of people that you connect with online are future business. 80% is future business, so you have to have a plan to nurture them and follow up with them and not let them fall through the cracks and not lose your communicational touch with them. You have to have a system to make that happen. I highly recommend it. 10% is now business. 10%, that's it. 10% of the people that show up on a website looking for property might be in the market right now. So that's a low percentage. So you may have to talk to a lot of people to find that one. That means, you know, you talk to 10 people, one of them might be ready to buy, and then you don't know if they're already working with an agent or not. Okay, so the people that are currently in the market is a smaller number, and then about 10% of them are bad. Now, granted, you might get all 10% right up front, you know, because people sometimes don't like to give out different information to create an online lead. So, you know, there has to be some patience and understanding of that. You're not looking to figure out who didn't give you a lead. You're trying to figure out, okay, who do I call back that did give me the information that I was looking for? Everybody else is just next. I have a famous word, just next, everybody. You know, just next until you get to the person that you're looking for. That's all. Continue prospecting for the next one. Awesome. Social media. You know, that's a great pillar for getting business. I'm not personally a big social media person, so I can't really tell you any of the things that I've done. But I can tell you that lots of people in our company use social media, and they use it pretty well. Julie Jenkins does a lot of social media, just communicating back and forth and just talking to people. I know that there's another lady by Mrs. Gross. She does a lot of things through her Facebook and her connection with people, things like that. So social media is absolutely becoming one of the forerunners for lead generation. So we're going to be bringing in some, you know, people that really understand this aspect to market to social media. I don't have any numbers for you, but I can tell you this, it should be a pillar in your business, especially in real estate. Real estate is a social business. He who is connected with the most people makes the most money. All right, so social media is can play a huge part with that because technology allows us to be connected with so many people and allows us to deliver our message so rapidly, you know, and for people to reach out to us so easily. So just think about that. We're able to communicate with them rapidly and easily. They can communicate back to us and reach out to us easily. We just have to be paying attention, and we have to make them aware, and we have to have a game plan to make them aware that we do real estate services. And we have to make sure that we connect with them on a personal level, and we need to make sure that we also make them know that we can help them in the real estate, you know, services. And if they have any questions, we have to have a personal connection that way. And so, you know, those are some great avenues with social media as we explore them. I know that some of you on this call are extremely great with that already, and I'm looking forward to, you know, tapping into your social media skills and putting it to work. But, you know, just remember, have a plan, have a goal, what you would like to achieve from that. How, you know, what are your steps going to be to generate business from that? I recommend there's plenty of free webinars that talk about social media marketing. I highly recommend that you grab a couple of those and see if it makes sense to implement those kind of ideas into your business. But these are other top agents around the world that put these webinars on. All right, to kind of give you an example of how you can tie pillars together and build a career in real estate. Here, give you an idea, here's some income activities alone. 4 traditional listings per year, 12 buyers, 24 listings and FSBO fees. So that would be, let's say you had to give some discounts on some listings to get them, okay, but you still ended up with 24 of those. I mean, you could easily have quite a bit of sales. I mean, we got 4, 12, and 12, and you know, at $5,000 in average commission. By the way, $5,000 is under $200,000 in volume. So I mean, you got to sell, you know, sell houses under $200,000 to make $5,000, and that gives you a gross commission income of $140,000. I always tell people it's easy to make $100,000 in real estate. You just have to do quite a bit of stuff. You got to have some pillars going. Now, when you first start out in real estate, you don't have all these pillars going. You don't have your schedule kind of mapped out yet, and you're starting from scratch. And you have, you know, it's hard to build the momentum. But if you start building small momentums on lots of these different fronts, then when you look up, you'll get a lead from this pillar, you'll get a lead from this pillar, and then you'll get a lead from this pillar, and all of a sudden you got 3 leads within a week or 2 weeks. But they didn't come from one single activity. They came from multiple levels of activity. Okay, but they all were prospecting activities to generate business. Okay. Give me 1 second. You know, when you're setting, so when we come back to our goals, now that we looked at the different pillars, when you come back to the goal setting here, all right, so now what you can do is understand, I want to have a COI plan. My income goal from my COI is going to be this. I'd like to earn that by this. This is the activities that I'm going to do to reach the goal, this goal. I'm going to mail them, I'm going to email them every other week something about real estate, whether it's a new listing or a new sold. And then once a month, I'm going to send out a newsletter. And then every other month, I'm going to call them. and then I may say down here before, and then I'm going to make sure that I call and qualify every contact that is part of my complete program, you know. And so, you know, I would go through here and I would just brain dump all the things that I could do to reach that goal that I was setting there. All right, so that's how you use this goal setting thing. That's how you break it down to one pillar to really blast all the things that that you could do. And to just give you the mindset when you get started in real estate, I tell this story sometimes. I asked agents, listen, if I would pay you $75,000 to get your car run over, and maybe your car's more than worth $75,000, maybe I have to up it. I'll pay you $150,000 to get your car run over by a train in Sarasota. And you're like, what? The first thing that you would do is, and I would tell you, there's a train that runs through Sarasota. And you go, okay, what do I got to do to get my car run over by a train? Well, first you got to identify where the train tracks are, right? And then once you get to the train tracks, what you might want to also find out when the schedule of the trains might be coming through, right? So that would maximize my opportunity of time that I should be there. But even if I got to the train tracks and I didn't have a schedule, when would you quit? When would you quit on your goal of making $150,000? All you had to do was position yourself in the right place at the right time to make $150,000. When do you quit? Do you say, you know what, I've been here for 5 minutes. I've been here for 2 hours. I've been here for almost a full day. What, the train didn't run today? I'm going to tell you this. The mindset is, I have to stay there till I complete it. I have to do what it takes to achieve this goal. I'm willing to stick it out, endure whatever learning experience may come from this to make sure that I reach my goal. Because I know the train's coming, I'm going to get $150,000. So you have to have the thick skin, and you have to have the determination to stick it out. And so I just want to encourage you to do that. Because in real estate, sometimes it gets painful, you know. But I think you just got to keep it light and have a lot of fun. It's a social business, so go out and be social and have some fun. But you're going to have some disappointments. You're going to have some setbacks. Don't let that distract you from where you're, you know, expect it. And so don't let it set you back from your goals. Expect it. So now that you get your pillars and things like that, you're going to be putting them in place. So then you're going to have to start creating activities that you're going to need. And then the next thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to apply that to a schedule. Okay? So then what you want to do is then start breaking down your time to put your activities that you're going to be working on. And when you build a schedule and when you're doing certain things, I want you to think about color-coded things. When you're prospecting and you're doing prospecting activities, color-code those green. Those are money-making activities. All right? So I want to focus on my money-making activities. And so you can see when I have, and this, by the way, is just a schedule that a real estate agent might have. And I might coordinate an off day here in the week if I'm doing open houses on the weekend. Or showing property on the weekend, I might take a different day off through the week. Well, I might work 6 days and only take 1 day off. You know, it's really your preference, how you want to work. So my green activities are prospecting time, calling leads and follow-up. I got learning time, which happens to be our office meetings and trainings. And then I have business development time over here in blue. Now, business development time is when you're not actually doing the business. Doing the business is when you're prospecting or showing houses or writing contracts or going on listing appointments or inputting the listing in, you know, submitting it into the office. That's doing the business. Working on the business is developing a web page, working on my action plans for a particular step in my business, working on my newsletter that I'm going to use on my marketing plan, developing a listing presentation. Those are working on the business. So you need to have working on the business. But you could work on your business until you go broke in some cases. You could just spend all your time being busy getting set up to get ready to start and never start. Real estate is simple, very simple. Make great connections and be able to process those connections when the time is right. That's it. Everything else is designed to help you have a connection with somebody or create a new connection with somebody. And then you have to have the skill set to be able to write a contract, negotiate a contract, and follow it from contract to close. Or do a listing appointment, listing presentation, or do the listing paperwork, market it, contract negotiation, contract to close. But it all comes, that's the skill set, being able to, do the skills with the processes. But, on the front end, if you can't make connections with people, if someone calls in off of one of your properties and asks about it and you can't convert them to a customer, you can't connect. If someone goes on your website and you get a website lead and you call them back and try to follow up and see if you can help them and you can't connect. See, it's about making connections with people and processing those connections. And I always say it's about making real connections. See, if you have a referral base and have 100 referrals to you, you don't need to do any marketing. You'll be too busy working with all the people that are being referred to you. So, anyway, so getting back to the green things on the calendar, you want to make sure that you work on your business and you plan it and you time block it and it doesn't get out of hand is all I'm saying. Then you want to work prospecting time. You can see here I got the mobile open house on the middle of a Wednesday. You know what, if there's a vacant property and I can put signage up, that's the cheapest marketing that I could ever do versus its return is open houses. All right, so we'll teach you how to do mega open houses or mobile office open houses. I kind of gave you some scenarios today. Again, follow up. I don't have really any evening things. Maybe I have scheduled an evening follow-up time or evening prospecting time to catch people at home after work. Okay, so that might be an option. I might have the weekends. I may even schedule some follow-up prospecting time on Saturday mornings because that's a great time to catch people if I don't have previous engagements. So you can manipulate your schedule all the way you want and have some flexibility. You can see here I have coffee appointments for in the morning, so I got plenty of time to deepen relationships and get connected with people. I also have lunch appointments in here, and I even remind myself never go to lunch alone, meaning use lunch as an opportunity to meet somebody or network or deepen a relationship if you're eating out. Nothing says you have to buy them lunch. Just, get together and talk about business, other business owners. So here's your schedule. This is a good idea. I have a blank schedule that you can play with. Most people use a digital schedule these days. So another thing I'm going to send to you, because not only are you going to have activities, but maybe you have a master goal for yourself. Maybe you want to work on your income goal. All right. So you can use this program, and I'll send it to you, and you can put in the amount that you'd like to make here in a year. And then you can put in the percentage of commission that you're going to get, like 3% on a side. Then you can put in your commission split with your office. You can put your average selling price. I put $200,000 in this particular situation. And then I'm going to put down the percentage of my business that's going to come from listings. So I put 30% of my business is going to come from listings. 70% of my business is going to come from buyers. Okay? So then this tells me how many transactions I got to take to equal that. This is the commission. And that's how I get to my goal of $100,000. So you can say I have to have 24 transactions, okay, to reach my goal of $100,000 in income. So now I'm going to break that down a little further. And it says right here to have 7, okay, to have 7 sold listings, and that's my goal up here, 7 sold listings, I have to give 67%. 67% of my listings will sell. Okay, is what I'm saying here. I can change this number because in today's market, if I can list something, it can be 90%, right? If I can get it listed. So now you can see how my numbers changed. All my numbers changed based on the market conditions. All right, so 90% of my listings will sell. Maybe that's just a little too aggressive. Maybe I want to just go to 85. Maybe I'm going to have a couple tough listings. Then this tells me right here that I got to have 8 annual listings that I'm going to need. All right, so if I'm going to get 8 annual listings, out of my listing presentations, out of the listing presentations that I go on, I'm not that good. I'm fairly new. I'm only going to get maybe 1 out of 4. Just a little bit better than 1 out of 4. So I got to actually do 25 listing presentations a year. I know how many listing presentations I got to do. So every time I go on a listing presentation, I can check that off. I can see how I'm doing through the year of meeting my goals of where I got to go to get it done. It tells me, breaks it down on, how many listing presentations I have to do every 14 days, or 25 presentations I got to do, every 2.5 months. I'm sorry, that's wrong. 25 listing presentations breaks down to 2.12 per month, per month, and then that breaks down to every 14 days, or a half a listing presentation per week, allowing for a 2-week vacation. The beautiful thing about real estate is you should take more than 2 weeks vacation a year. You get to build your own schedule. So those are my listing goals. Well, here's my selling goals. All right, I'm only going to convert 33% of the buyers that I'm showing properties to. That means I got to have 51 buyers that I need to have to show property to. And then it breaks it on down how many buyers I need to be working with a month. 4. That's not a lot. 4. I can meet those at an open house. I can meet those with a good website. I can meet those by working my COI. Okay? So see, now I know the number of leads and things that I need to run through my business. I have the pillars to bring the leads in. All right? And so this kind of breaks things down, kind of shows you when you look at it annually on how that's all going to work. Breaks down like your potential money. Again, these are prospecting activities, and these are things that I wrote in here. So these are where I could just brainstorm of what I'm going to do. All right, what time am I going to do that activity, and how much of that activity am I going to try to do? And then I sign this. This is my income goal. So I played around with the calculator, and I've done one here for somebody that wants to have a $50,000 income goal. And then I had one that, and the selling price is $150,000. And then I did one here for for $75,000. In those kind of income goals. So hopefully this is, very helpful. You guys have this, will be available to you so you can play with it, look at the numbers, play with the different types of pillars. And then once you have your goals and you want to kind of stay on track with some things, this is something that you can kind of just keep in the back of your mind. If you can just set up little small micro goals of achieving certain things, then you can really accomplish a lot over time. So if we broke down some things, like for Monday, I'm going to check in and talk to, my best clients, 5 people on Monday. I'm going to write 3 personal notes and get them out in the mail. I'm going to add 1 new database person to my database. I'm going to use my mayor campaign on them daily. I'm going to do 2 pop-bys where I drop by and see face-to-face with past clients or strengthen relationships. That's what I did on Monday. So I could check those off. I would actually win the day. And then I added 1 person to my database, went to lunch on Tuesday with somebody. And again, you can modify this. This was just put together to just give you an idea. And then you have Wednesday, you have Thursday, you have Friday. And if I have the majority of my boxes checked off for the week, I've won the week. And so again, break it down into small little wins and they really add up to something big. And one last thing that I'm going to share you need to track your numbers. Now maybe you can kind of keep your numbers very simple, but if you want to get elaborate, you could really get elaborate and track things. I mean, you could really micromanage yourself if you really wanted to and break everything down into a statistical opportunity. And if you showed up for the showed up for the appointment, statistics will take care of themselves. But I have created a tracking sheet that for those of you that are sophisticated and want to try something like this, you can. Like, for instance, your daily log. This just talks about, if you look across the top here, these are the different categories. I mean, this counts the ups, counts the number of people that came into your open houses, how many were turned into leads, how many FISBOs did you call, how many did I get previewed, how many expires did I call, how many appointments did I set, how many leads did I give up for my print lead ads. So you can break down every pillar in your business and track your numbers. You can break it all the way down to daily activities that are happening, and this spreadsheet will, track everything for you. You will also have a funnel here, so you can look at how your funnel's doing for the year. And I actually set the spreadsheet up 3 years ago in 2012. Then you got your top, your top 5 things that are going on. These are my top 5 buyers, my top 5 sellers, my top 5 referrals that I might be working on. Here's my closing tracker as I'm starting to get busy. I got my estimated of income and my estimated of closing. Let's say I'm doing my FISBOs and calling on some FISBOs. Here's my FISBO log. Maybe I do for myself if I don't have a system. Here's my expired log if I'm checking and watching expireds that may pop up. Maybe I have an open house log, and I put the day I did the open house, how many people came through, what was the traffic. Yeah, I may even elaborate to that. If I decide to do door knocking, I could say, okay, here are my reasons why I might do some door knocking, okay, and then I log what they said, how the result went, those kind of things. I even log how many pop-bys I have, like when I stopped into some business owner that I knew or a friend of mine, we got together or stopped by their house, little pop-bys. I could track all my mass mailings, how did that turn out? And so just giving you some creative ideas. Again, this is available to you. You don't have to use it. But you know what? You can create your own tracking system too and keep it simple, if that's what you decide to do. All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for coming to the class. I'm going to open it up now for questions and answers and things like that. So we'll jump into that now.